Okay, good morning everyone. Today we are going to start the subject software architecture and design patterns. Okay, so first chapter is introduction about the subject and introduction about the UML notations. Okay, so first topic is why we use UML. What is UML? Okay, what is UML? UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. Unified Modeling Language. It is not dependent on any one language or technology. UML is not dependent on any one language or technology. Okay, we can draw diagrams on multiple platforms. So it is the diagramming language designed for object-oriented programming. You know about object-oriented programming. This UML language is diagramming language. It is designed for object-oriented programming. Okay, as the name says, unified modeling language. It is a modeling language that combines various approaches in a single design language, which is used to plan and create computer applications. Whenever we are going to create any computer application, we have to draw a structure for that application. By using UML diagrams or unified modeling language, we can draw the diagrams for that. Okay, for that computer application. UML is actually a combination of several notations. Notations like object-oriented design, object modeling techniques, and object-oriented software engineering. So why we use UML? Because it is widely used modeling language in the field of software engineering. In software engineering, whenever we are going to create any computer application or we are going to design any software, so we have to draw or we have to design or we have to model the that application in the form of UML diagrams. Okay, so expert uses UML to analyze, to design, and to implement software-based systems. Expert people are going to use that UML diagrams or UML modeling language for analyzing, designing, and implementing the software. So it is most often used for determining system requirements and planning details of system implementation. UML is used for to determine the system's requirement and plan the system. Okay, it will help to acquire an overall view of system. By using UML diagrams, we can get the structure or overall view of the system. We can understand the system through the diagram. We can get the program, how program executes, how program is used, how program is deployed over a network. For that, every all the steps having several diagrams. Okay, so we can build and guide the creation of complex systems using UML diagrams. We can show how program is executed, how program is used. Okay, how system is going to execute, how system is going to deploy over the network. So there are two types of UML diagrams. First is structural diagram, second one is behavioral diagram. In structural diagrams, composite structure diagram, deployment diagram, package diagram, profile diagram, class diagram, object diagram, and component diagram. These are the structural diagrams. And in behavioral diagrams, state machine diagram, communication diagram, use case diagram, activity diagram, sequence diagram, timing diagram, and interaction overview diagram. These are the behavioral diagrams. Structural diagram means it will show the structure of the system, and behavioral means this diagram shows how system behaves with users. Okay, these are the two types of UML diagrams, structural and behavioral. So these are the types of UML diagrams, class diagram, component diagram. We have seen that. Okay, these are the types of UML diagrams. Then structural and behavioral diagram. These are two types of UML diagrams. What structural diagram shows? It shows the things in a system being modeled. Okay, in a more technical term, they show different objects in the system. What structural diagram shows? The behavior of the system. Sorry, not behavior. It shows the structural things. What are the objects in the system? How the objects are created. Okay, or in behavioral diagrams, it shows what should happen in a system. That is how system behaves. Okay, that is the what system is going to do. This is the behavioral diagram. They describe how the objects interact with each other to create a functioning system. This diagram shows the internal functioning, how system or how objects are going to interact with the system. That is the behavioral diagram. Okay, these are two types of diagrams. two types of UML diagrams, structural and behavioral diagram. Okay, first we'll see behavioral diagram. That is, first one is use case diagram. Already, I think you have studied, but you will see this use case diagrams. What use case diagrams gives us? It gives a graphical overview of actors involved in system, different functions needed by those actors, and how these different functions are interacted. It's a great starting point for any project discussion because you can easily identify the main actors involved and main processes of the system. In use case diagram, here you can see there are several actors: patient, receptionist, surgeon, nurse, okay, and admin and doctor. These are the okay. These are the actors. These actors are going to interact with the system. System means here a system is for hospital management system. Okay. So whenever patient comes to the receptionist, it will take the appointment and the receptionist will take or it will accept that appointment. Then surgeon, whenever surgeon is going to or doctor is going to assign some treatment to that patient, it will take the surgeon will take that treatment and proceed with that use case like operation. The nurse is one actor. That operation is going to assign with that nurse. Okay, this is the simple use case diagram. There are several use cases like taking appointment, takes treatment. These are the generalization or association terms. Okay, delivery, normal treatment, diagnosis, generate bill. These are the use cases. Okay, so these diagrams give the graphical overview of the system. Through this diagram, we can get how system flows or what is the structure of the system. Okay, this is the use case diagram. The next one is class diagram. Class diagram shows classes, interfaces, and their relationships between objects. Okay, it shows the classes in a system and attributes and operations of each class. Okay, and the relationship between that each class. In most modeling tools, a class has three parts. Okay, first one is class name at the top, attributes in the middle, and operations at last. Okay, so always remember that whenever we are going to declare a class or class name, always remember it should be a initial letter should be capital. Okay, that is class name, attributes, and methods. This is the class. The next diagram is component diagram. So component diagram displays the structural relationship of components of a software system. There are, you can see in diagram, there are several components which include some packages. Components like order, product, customer, and account. Sorry. These diagrams are mostly used when working with complex systems that has many components like this. Whenever we are going to design or we are going to develop a complex system or that system is having multiple components, then we are going to draw this diagram, that is component diagram. This diagram is communicating with each other through interfaces. Okay, for communicating the component we are going to use interfaces. Here you can see interfaces like term code, customer details, okay, payment interface, components like order, product. Whenever going customer is going to order any product, we have to use some interfaces between communicating. Well, this both component is going to communicate through interfaces. Okay, this is component diagram. The next one is activity diagram. Activity diagram represents workflows in a graphical way. Activity means from the start to end, it will show how systems workflow is going on. Okay, the systems work. This diagram shows the system workflow. They can be used to describe business workflow or the operational workflow of any component in a system. Sometimes activity diagrams are used as an alternative to state machine diagrams. We can also use activity diagram or state machine diagram. What this diagram shows, this diagram shows activity of the system. What is the flow of the system, like flow charts. The next one is deployment diagram. This diagram shows the hardware of your system and the software in those hardware. Okay. These deployment diagrams are useful when your software solution is deployed across multiple machines with each having a unique configuration. Here consider a scenario like hospital. For hospital management system, this diagram is for hospital management system. Whenever we are going to deploy that system, what the diagram consists of, We are going to give desktop to client, printer, or hospital server or database server. We are going to give these components to customer. This is the deployment diagram. Okay. Then next one is communication diagram. This diagram is also called as collaboration diagram in UML. Okay. So it is similar to sequence diagram, but the focus is on messages passed between the objects. Here you can see the online book management system. For here there is one actor, and you can see the messages passed between that objects. Okay, so the same information can be represented using a sequence diagram or with and different objects. Here you can see the customer. It will find the books from online bookshop. Then online bookshop will send the request or pass the message for search to inventory system. Then it will check for that books. Okay, there are several messages are there for online book management system. This is the communication diagram. Okay, messages pass between the objects for communicating with objects. The next diagram is timing diagrams. Timing diagrams are very similar to sequence diagram. Timing diagram represents the behavior of objects in given time frame. Whenever consider one scenario, we are going to develop one system for hospital management. Uh, First stage is in SDLC software development life cycle. There are several stages for designing software. First stage is analyzing, requirement gathering, modeling, coding, implementation, testing. Okay, then deployment. These are there are several stages. There is time slot for wherever we are going to draw a timing diagram. We have to consider all the from starting to ending. We have to consider all the scenario for every stage. For first stage, we have taken this time. For second stage, we have taken this much time, that much time. Okay, so we have to draw the timing diagram according to that scenario. Okay, this is all about UML notations. Okay, so next point is RUP, that is Rational Unified Process. We will see this. Wait for some time. Still any doubt to anyone? Anybody is having any doubt? Okay. Last point for from your first chapter, that is process. Rational Unified Process, RUP. Okay. So there are two approaches like team unifying approach. The RUP unifies the software team by providing a common view of the development process and a shared vision of common goal. Okay, then increase team productivity. What RUP does, it increases the team productivity by knowledge base of all processes, view of how to develop software, modeling language. Rational provides many tools. That rational unified process many tools for to draw that diagram or to draw that architecture. Okay, like there are a lot of softwares for designing the diagrams to draw that diagrams. Like one software name is IBM Rational Row software. Okay, for the diagram we have seen, to draw this diagram, the one software is there from Rational, that is IBM Rational Row software. Okay, so here you can see, sorry, here you can see that the rational unified process contains the phases like architect. There are several terms or several sections are under this process. First one is architect. Architecture is involved in that process. Then project management team. Then analyst, designer or developer. Then tester, release engineer, or there are tool specialists. Okay, these are all terms or these are all categories are under the rational unified process. Then what is rational unified process? Here you can see the diagram. There are several phases. There are four phases of rational unified process. Okay, first phase is inception, second one is elaboration, third one is construction, and fourth one is transition. Okay, these are the four phases of rational unified process. Here you can see the time bar and content. Contents, what are the content? Process workflows. What process workflows contains? It contains business modeling, then requirements, analysis and design, implementation, test, and deployment. This is the SPLC's part. Okay, process workflows. How process workflows? Okay, whenever we are going to develop any software, we have to model we have to gather the requirements. Okay, so you can see that at the phases there are several iterations, preliminary iterations. Okay, these are preliminary iterations, iteration 1, 2, up to n or n plus 1. Okay, in those iterations for those steps, you can see the chart. Okay, up down chart. What business in inception phase, you can see the business modeling. It will goes up, and while in elaborating the business model, it will be goes down, and while constructing that requirement, it will up in implementation phase. Okay, these are the phases of software design: business modeling, requirements, analysis and design, implementation, test, and deployment. These are the phases of while we are whenever we are going to continue with that software development processes like business modeling, requirements, analysis and design. Then that inception, elaboration, construction, and transition phase, you can see the graph. It will goes up when we are at the first stage. It will goes down when we are in second stage. It will goes up when we are in implementation phase. You can see here whenever we are in implementation phase, in construction phase that graph is going towards up direction. Okay, this is the rational unified process. There are four phases: inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. There are this here you can see the process workflows. Then next one is supporting workflows. Supporting means supporting department, configuration and change management. Whenever any change in any software, at last there is a configuration and change management department. Okay, then project management environment. Okay, to manage that project. This is the rational unified process. Okay, now we are going to see the phases. There are four phases: inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. Okay, inception means define the scope of project. Define the scope of project. What is in inception phase? In this phase, we are going to define the scope of project. What is project actually? What is the scope of that project? In elaboration phase, we are going to plan the project. We are going to specify some features of that project and going to draw some architecture for that project. In construction phase, we are going to build the product. In transition phase, transition the product into end user community. We are going to deploy that product to end user. We will see these phases one by one. First phase is inception phase. Okay, so in this phase, we are going to establish the project software scope and boundary conditions, including an operational vision, acceptance criteria, and what is intended to be in product and what is not. So in this phase, in short, we are going to gather the requirements, or we are going to decide the scopes and objectives of that software, and we are going to limit that boundary conditions. Okay, some boundary conditions, or we are going to set some limitations to that software. What software should we do? What software should not? Okay, these are the boundary conditions we are going to set in inception phase. In this phase, we are going to exhibiting and maybe demonstrating at least one candidate architecture against some of the primary scenario. Okay, we are going to prepare the supportive environment for the project. In inception, you will get that in inception phase, we are going to gather the requirements, we are going to set the boundary conditions, or we are going to model some design for that basic requirements. Okay, this is the inception phase. Then in elaboration phase, we are going to define, validate, and we are going to defining, validating, and baselining the architecture as rapidly as practical, refining the vision based on new information obtained during the phase, establishing a solid understanding of the most critical use cases that drive an architectural and planning decision. In this phase, we are going to develop an architecture model for that requirement. We are going to elaborate the system. Here you can see in elaboration we are going to plan the project, specify the features, and we are going to design the architecture for that requirement for that inception phase. Okay, this is the elaboration phase. Then third one is construction phase. In construction phase we are going to construct the model, or we are going to develop that model or based on that requirements. So resource management, control, and process optimization is done in construction phase. We are going to complete the component development and testing against the defined evaluation criteria. While testing, we are going to design, or we are going to define some evaluation criteria based on that requirements that user gives. Okay, in construction phase, we are going to test that development, or we are going to assessment of product release against acceptance criteria for the vision. Whatever users needs are there, we are satisfied or not with that criteria. Okay, then next one is transition phase. Next one is transition phase. In transition phase, we are going to deploy the product to customer. That is, we are going to execute our plans. That say how the system is going to work, how what the system is capable of handling the requirements of customer. System is giving the quality product. Okay, that is creating a product, or we are going to release the product. We are going to get the feedback from user. Okay, making the product available to end user. In transition phase we are going to hand over the system to customer. That is transition phase. Okay, there are four phases of RUP, that is rational unified process. Okay, first one is inception phase, second one is elaboration phase, third one is construction phase, and fourth one is transition phase. Okay, these are the four phases of rational unified process. Okay, that's it.